What is up, Minties? This is the Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, and join me today as I do an overview of the Strangers in Paradise Omnibus box set, and I also do a quick comparison with the soft covers that were originally printed. So, please stay tuned. Okay, so let's take a look at the new printing of the box set. This was originally printed a few years ago, and it went completely out of print. And luckily, because of fans such as Wonder Maddie and all of us that love this series, Terry Moore decided to make another printing of it. It was originally sold through his own web store, and then places like cheap graphic novels and comic book stores ended up with it. So what I'm doing is comparing it right now to this is the softcover. So as you can tell, probably, the softcover version, the box is a little bit shorter, and it's not as thick, and that's because the softcover versions does not come with this cover gallery, which has all the covers of Strangers in Paradise. And I've had this with me for a few years now. Before looking inside of the box, let's do a quick comparison between the box sets. So like I said, the cover gallery is missing from the softcover. The height, it kind of looks very similar, except for this image right here. They went with a different image for the hardcover, and both have been reprinted. So let's take a quick look at the hardcover and compare it to this, and then just look at the binding and things like that and what this holds as I talk a little bit about the books. Here we have volume 1. This is the hardcover version, and over here is the softcover version. One of the differences that I can tell right off the bat is the images of the supporting cast in the back. They look to be a little lower on the hardcover than they do the softcover, and they actually stand out more in the softcover version. The softcover, of course, does not come with a dust jacket, whereas the hardcover does. So let's see what it looks like under the dust jacket. So you have this image right here of what appears to be Kachu. On the front, on the side, it's all in silver. Strangers in Paradise Omnibus 1. It's got this almost aluminum glow to it, including the one Terry Moore signature, and then of course Abstract Studios. Nothing in the back. So here they are side by side, without the dust jacket, of course, and the book is a little bit taller because it's actually the same height, and I've talked about this, but because of the actual backboard and the spine, it stands a little taller. Oh, I like that image, where as this has no image, and you just jump right into Strangers in Paradise. So let's look in this. By the way, this book is a reprint. Here is a little sketch card from Terry Moore. Nice. Or there's a little sticker. And for Robin, identical in every way. The same page count per volume, and the same uncolored pages. I wish they had colored this stuff over here. This is the stuff that was drawn by Jim Lee when he took his comics over to Wildstorm Studios at Image. Okay, so I had to flip over here because I noticed in the hardcover, since I don't own the original hardcover, that it had a panel with color. And I was just saying that I wish that the Jim Lee stuff had color on it. But so here's the original softcover that I had, and I'm sure it's just a reprint, but this is really cool because I didn't know that the hardcover had the actual color pages, whereas the softcover does not. So that makes me pretty happy. Not that there's a lot, because it's just a quick little dream sequence, but still, that is pretty cool that it's intact. I love when art is reprinted intact in the way that it was intended. So I've never been a fan when they decolorize it, and sometimes, recolor something. I know fans are tore up right now, or split down the middle between the new colors of Swamp Thing. Another thing I noticed on the hardcover is the use of numbers. So there's page numbers on each page. Well, with the exception of the full-blown pages with all the art. But yeah, down at the bottom, there's a number, whereas this printing does not. And like I said, that's probably the difference between the hardcover and the softcover. The other thing the hardcover has that I really enjoy about books like this, a black ribbon. It's basic, it's plain, it's nothing really special, but I love it when they include it in books. Like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the first printings all had a ribbon of different colors, but yeah. So let's talk just a little bit about this book. It's the story of Francine and Kachu, two ladies that at first are just roommates, friends, really good friends, and then there's a huge love story. And I don't want to spoil it for anybody that has not read this. It is one of the most powerful stories. It is in my top 20 most beloved non-superhero comics. I've made that list, I believe, last year, and this is definitely in my top 20. It is a beautiful, wonderful story. It is real. To me, it helped me get over a lot of parts in my life where I was having just some really bad times. And this is Terry Moore's wonderful artwork, and it's really cool how his artwork just evolves. Just flipping through the pages, these are the first few couple of issues here. From this, almost like cartoony, to a more realistic style. I never really noticed as I was reading it. I've read these a couple of times. I know Maddie wants to do an old reader, new reader on it. Don't let this early artwork fool you, because yes, the series started in 1993, I think. So it feels a little dated, even some of the story and languages and pop culture in it, but seriously, it is worth to keep going because it is such a timeless classic. It is freaking awesome. Highly recommended. There are moments in here I bawled like a kid, and still do, just even thinking about some of the things that happened to these two ladies' lives. And a lot of it sometimes gets a little goofy and like over the top, supernatural almost, but overall it's just a beautiful love story. Yes, you're a loser, Freddie Femur. These are some of the supporting cast members, but the main story is about Francine and Kachu. So such a cute little story. Let's look here in the back to see, the end also has the covers. So let's look at volume 2 really quick and talk about the binding. So here's volume 2. Now let's get the dust jacket out. So it's this nice little picture of Francine and Kachu. Nothing in the back. And again, Strangers in Paradise, volume 2. So, a love story, and that same image that we saw in volume 1, where all these opposing forces are coming between, or trying to come between Kachu and Francine, so they can never be happy together. Can't really flip too much through here because there's a lot of huge things that happen between these two characters in their lives. So, one thing I will say is that the first book had just about 1,100 pages, and then this second omnibus has about 1,076 pages. Now, there is a difference in the price, because the original printing of this box set, the hardcover box set, was $150, whereas this one is $179. So it's out of print. It's a lot better than paying third-party prices. Like some people were selling this for $300, $400 sealed. So it's better to get it that way. It is still in print, so I'm not sure how much longer it's going to be in print. Now, if you've never read it, I would try out a trade paperback. There's trade paperbacks available. I'll show you the covers here in a little bit. It's in the cover gallery book portion of the book. But just look at this wonderful artwork. It's my favorite Terry Moore story, and like I said, in my top 20 non-superhero comics. Also comes with a ribbon. Now let's look at the binding really quick. And it looks to be like a mix of like some sewn binding in there and definitely glue. But let's flip towards the beginning here. You can probably tell how well it lays over for a book over 1,000 pages. I mean, it's almost 1,100 pages, same as volume 1. There's no gutter loss at all. Mainly, it's got a lot to do with the way that the art is drawn. But yeah, you could probably tell right there. Let's look, let's keep it towards the beginning here. See? Now, because of that glued binding, it is a little harder to keep it open here towards the beginning of the pages. We're on page 72. And then by the time you get to page 60, I stand corrected. So, I think it does a pretty damn good job of staying open. It's a beautiful presentation of the story, which I absolutely love. The paper quality is really nice. It's this thick matte paper. It's not really glossy, but honestly, you don't really need glossy for something like this, since there's no color except for maybe like 1% of the book. Oh, that's gorgeous. And here we have the Omnibus cover gallery with that piece of artwork that we saw in the softcover box set. Even This has a dust jacket, and that's Terry Moore working long hours on Strangers in Paradise at his art table. So this is a collection. This was not in the softcover collection. This is only available with the hardcovers. And here's all the colorists, because this is all the covers of the series. Issue 1, actually that's the cover of the final issue, so I'm not going to flip through all of these, but it tells you what years they were originally printed. Cover brings back a lot of memories because that was the one that was hanging up at my comic book store when I worked there. Oh my gosh, this even comes with a ribbon too? Really? Huh, that's cool. Let's flip a little more here. He's a big fan of Xena. I love the take on other works of comic book art. Oh, yeah. Francine, my goodness. She's my type of girl. But how could you not love Kachu? It's a beautiful cover. Actually, looks more like his artwork now. Like stuff that he's done in Rachel Rising. So here we have... Yeah, this is cool. So this is the final bonus cover. So if you go back, there's the issue 1 cover and the bonus cover of the final issue. Here's the Strangers in Paradise trade paperbacks. So this is a cheaper way to get them if you've never read Strangers in Paradise. That's my way of suggesting. If you want to do it in a complete order, they have these little pocket size that are a little cheaper and easier to find. Let me see. Here's the hardcover editions. Because of course they released hardcovers. Let's go look and see if I think they have them in here. The pocket books, I think. Yeah, pocket editions. So these are smaller, like manga size. I believe they were $14.99 and easier to find. But I think there's a total of 7 of them. I used to have these. But I mean, the way to try it out, you can purchase the first one or read it through Comixology if it's available through there. Oh, I was wrong. 6 of them. What is this? Special editions. Huh. Okay, so this is the cover, the source book. That's what we saw in the ends. Oh, it's beautiful. AbstractStudios.com. Now, you can purchase the new printing of both the softcover and the hardcover box sets from CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for brand new graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. Cheap Graphic Novels prides itself in packaging your books so they arrive safely and in excellent condition, as well as prompt and helpful service. Cheap Graphic Novels Black Friday sale is continuing all through December, so there's still time to save up to 95% off thousands of books. Additional books will be added throughout the month, so be sure to check back often and stay tuned to CGN on social media to be the first to know when the new books have been added to the sale. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discounts, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was the contents and the build of this new box set. Leave the comments down below if you picked this up, if you've never read Strangers in Paradise and you've always wondered about it, or if you've read it and you've got the trade paperbacks and have been thinking about upgrading to this box set. I really do think this is the definitive way of owning it. It's a great box set, and I'm glad they brought it back into print. Please don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button. We can also be found on Patreon, and thank you to our existing patrons. And remember, if it's classy and cool, it must be near mint.